Hi everyone, I'm Yuri Galimidi. Last week we spoke about self-motivation, what you can do to increase your own level of motivation. And this week we'll talk about what you can do as a project manager or an IT leader to increase the level of motivation of your team and create an environment whereby your team will be driven to achieve and deliver the highest quality work. So we'll talk about three topics. Number one, the Neuro-Demotivators. That is to say, the factors that are acting inside our brain to demotivate us. We'll talk about how these factors work inside our brain to demotivate us. And finally, and most importantly, we'll talk about how you as the project leader or the IT leader can create an environment whereby our team members will feel very motivated and driven to achieve more and more and more. So let's get started with the neuro-demotivating factors. The number one neuro-demotivator is chronic stress and toxic environments. That is to say, an environment whereby our team members feel chronically stressed out, burnt out, or an environment where our team members feel that there is this negative energy in the air, that they operate in a very toxic environment. The next neuro-demotivator is micromanagement. One of the things that our team members dislike most is being told what to do all the time at the micro level. Or you're not doing this right, or this is the way you do it, or forget about it, I will do it instead, just give it back to me, I will do it for you. And this kind of language constitutes a very powerful negative neuro-demotivator. Another neuro-demotivator is an environment whereby the professional values of your team members conflict with the values of the organization as a whole, of your team, of your department, or maybe even your own value as a team leader. So to demonstrate that, we can just pay a little bit of attention to what is happening around the world with COVID-19 and with the vaccination and anti-vaxxers and so on. And the conflict of values that is creating so much tension inside of our societies and communities. Another neuro-demotivator is the feeling of hopelessness. The feeling that whatever you do, it's never enough, that whatever you do, you're never making positive progress. This is a very powerful neuro-demotivator again. And the last one I want to mention here is the feeling of ongoing stagnation, a feeling that we're not making progress, a feeling that we are stuck. However hard we work, however close to complete burnout we feel, we're still not making progress. And this, again, is a very powerful negative neuro-demotivator. So what do these neuro-demotivators do to our brain? With the advent of fMRI, functional MRI studies, scientists have been able to detect over the last 20 years or so exactly what is happening inside of our brain when we are subjected to different conditions. And so scientists have been able to identify what is happening inside of our brain when we are subject to the negative neuro-demotivators that I shared with you a moment ago. The number one observations that neuroscientists have been able to make is that when we are subject to these neuro-demotivating factors, the creativity circuits on the right side of our brain are depressed. And also the critical thinking circuits that are typically on the left side of our brain are also depressed. The next observation that neuroscientists made is that when people are subject to these toxic conditions and these neuro-demotivating conditions, their brain gets into a defensive mode of operation. Namely, circuits like the amygdala gets turned on and people close themselves up and get into a defensive position. And the last critical observation that neuroscientists made is, again, that when we are subject to these negative conditions, our motivation and our drive to achieve more and more and more is depressed completely. So there is no question that through the advent of neuroscientists, we have been able to observe what happens inside of our brains when we are subject to these negative conditions, these neuro-demotivating conditions. So what can you do as a project manager, as an IT leader, to counter these negative conditions? Number one is you can create an environment within your team of what scientists call psychological safety. Namely, an environment whereby each member of your team will feel free and safe to express their opinions, to express their ideas, even if those ideas and opinions are contrary to the prevailing opinion in the room, and even if they are contrary to your opinion and your idea as the leader of the team. Just creating this psychological safety environment will change your team's positive motivation to achieve and share more and more and more creative ideas in a way that we can't even imagine. And all that is based on scientific discoveries in the last perhaps 10 years or so. Another thing that you can do as a project manager or IT leader is create an environment whereby people feel that they are in control of what they do. Yes, of course, you have to share with the team your overall direction, overall objectives, tasks that they have to do, deliverables that they have to complete, but leave it to them to decide how they will work on these deliverables and these tasks instead of trying to micromanage them. This will make a huge difference to their mindset when they approach the completion of these tasks and deliverables. The third thing that you can do is promote and emphasize the shared values between the professional values of your team members and the values of the organization as a whole, your department, your project, and so on. Number 4 is try to create an environment of purpose. So even if your project or your operation has to do with regular maintenance and keeping the lights on, you should try and find the positive impact that the operation or the project is having on the organization as a whole, and try and promote this positive impact so as to create a shared purpose within all your team members. Number 5 is to create an environment of hope. An environment where everyone is sharing in the positive vision of the project and the organization as a whole. An environment whereby team members are feeling and sensing and perceiving that there is hope, that they are making progress in their project or in their operation. So, of course, implementing all these steps will take focus and energy on your part. But I can assure you, if you dedicate diligently a certain proportion of your time to creating these positive conditions with your team, you will see the dividends paying off like you maybe never imagined before. So with that, I'd like to invite you to share with me by email at yuri@thewilltochange.com any questions or comments that you might have on today's video. Also, if you like the content of this video, please click on the subscribe link below and also click on the little bell that will remind you every time I share a new video. And last, I'd like to invite you to join our free Career Strategy LinkedIn group, whereby we will discuss even more topics like the topics today. And until the next video, please take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.